So in this video, we are going to be adding our drop down icon, and we are going to add this icon underneath the rest of the list item, because this icon is going to be acting like a list item as well. So let's just get started quickly. So we just say li, and then inside this li we need to link this as well. So we use the anchor tag, then your href, then we just throw in some pound sign, £1 inside there, and then let's close our anchor tag. Now inside this anchor tag is where we're going to be adding our drop down icon. Now by just specifying some numbers with your keyboard, you can actually create an icon. Okay, by just typing some numbers with your keyboard, you can create an icon. So let's just do that now. You just simply use your and sign. After your and sign, you use your pound sign, and then you use 9776, and then you close it with a semicolon. Now by doing this, you have automatically created an icon. Okay, by specifying these numbers, you have automatically created an icon. So if we go over to our web page now and refresh this, let's refresh this, and now you can see we have our icon, and you can look at the nice thing about it. You can see it's taking the stylings from the rest of our list item. It's taking the same stylings from the rest of our list items. You can see it has the same padding, the same margin and all that. That is the nice thing about it. The reason it's taking the same stylings, if we go over to our styles.css, the reason it's taking the same stylings with the list item is because because of these stylings we gave to it. You can see the float left, it's floating to the left. We gave it a display of block, padding, font size. It's taking the same styling. So that is the nice thing about the inheritance. So it's inheriting the same stylings we gave to the list items, the rest of the list items. So that is the nice thing about it. Okay, so now if we go over to our web page now, you can see this icon is floating to the left, and that is not what we want. And another thing to notice is this icon is also displaying on a desktop. We are on a desktop, obviously, so it's displaying on a desktop. So this is not what we want. We want this icon to display when we are on a max width of 780 pixels. Okay, we don't want it to display on a desktop view. We only want it to display when we have this screen. We only want it to display when we are on a max width of 780 pixels, which is this screen we have now. But you can see it's not displaying. So we need to hide this. We need to hide it. We need to hide it on this desktop. So we need to hide it. Okay, so to hide this icon, we need to give it a class, because we need to work with this icon. So inside this list item, you just specify a class. We are simply going to call it icon, because it's an icon, obviously. So we are going to call it icon. So let's go over to our styles.css and hide this icon on desktop. We are not going to do this inside the media query. We are not going to do this inside the max width of 780 pixels, because this is going to be for desktop. We want to hide it on desktop. So you simply come down here. Notice that these are all desktop stylings. Okay, these are all desktop stylings. So we are going to do this inside of the desktop. So we say inside of this desktop stylings now, say ul.topNav, then we say list item, and then we are going to get our class, which is the icon class. So we say dot icon, which is the class, icon. And now we open it, and then to hide this icon, you just simply use a display of none, because we don't want to see it anymore on desktop. So we have given it a display of none now. So if we go over to our web page now and refresh this, now you can see our icon is gone, because we have given it a display of none, and that is what we want. We don't want to show this icon on a desktop view. We only want to show it on the max width of 780 pixels. So we only want to show the icon when we have this screen right now. So we need to add this icon on a max width of 780 pixels. So let's go over to our media query. So inside of our media query, let's just create some space here. Inside of our media query, we just specify, let's go down here. So say ul, we do the same thing, ul.topNav li dot icon. Then we'll say display, because we want to show it on desktop, we say display block. Display block. So now let's go over to our web page now. Display block. Now we refresh. Now you can see we have our icon back, but we don't have the icon when we are on a desktop view. You can see we don't have it, but we have it when we are on a max width of 780 pixels. This is because this is what we want. We want to have the icon where we are on a max width of 780 pixels. Now you can notice one thing here. You can see the icon is floating to the left. We want this icon to be over here on the right hand side, but you can see it's floating to the left. The reason it's floating to the left is because if you can go up here in our desktop styling, we gave the list item a float of left. That's why the icon is floating to the left. We gave it a float of left, so we need to override that property. So inside of our icon now, since we have display block, we have shown the icon on a max width of 780 pixels. Now to float this to the right, you just simply override that with a float of right. Now before I refresh this, let me explain something here. This is the nice thing about display property. Now by giving this, when you give an element a display of block, it is easy to move that element around. So when you give an element a display of block, you can easily move that element around. That is the nice thing about displays of block. When you display an element with block, you can easily move that element around. So keep that in mind. That's the very nice thing about display block property. Okay, we have given it a display of block, so we can easily move that element around. You can float it to the left and you can float it to the right. So that's the nice thing about the display property. So now we have floated this icon now to the right. So let's refresh. You can see it's on the left right now. So if we refresh this, now you can see our icon is now on the right hand side, and this is what we want. Okay, so now in the next video we are going to do a structure whereby you have gone to websites whereby when you click this icon, you will have your drop down list drop down. Okay, you have gone to many websites whereby when you click an icon, you have your drop down list. So that's what we are going to be doing in the next video onwards. Okay, when we click this icon, we are going to have a beautiful drop down list. Okay, so that's what we are going to be doing in the next video. So I will see you guys in the next video as we are going to continue making our navbar mobile responsive. So if we go over to our web page now, you can see, look at the nice thing here. If we resize this browser like this, you can see we have our list item, but when we hit the maximum of 780 pixels, you can see now the list item, they are gone. You can see that we passed the 780 pixel, we reach it, you can see it's gone. So in the next video we are going to do the structure whereby when we click this icon, we are going to have our drop down list. We are going to be doing that in future tutorials. Okay, so that will be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next